first part that we're going to talk about is behavioural technique, and characteristics of this are that there's little cognitive effort. The behavioural technique is mainly focused on physical and technical skills. There's lots of command style teaching, so there's not that much variability, so it could get quite tedious. There's low levels of creativity, not so much the teacher teaching quite boring things that they've not been taught before, but when they're being taught this, it's just, there's no variability, so they might have been taught it before, and in this time, when they're being taught it, it's like, they're not decision training, so when they're being taught it, it's just quite command style. Yeah, like drills and skills.
Looking at the difference between decision training, it's quite the opposite to behavioural. It allows you to use a bit more creativity, your cognitive side comes in, and also the decision making allows you to be a bit more creative, so questions at this point get asked. It also helps along with guided discovery. Quite the opposite to obviously behavioural. It's not on a command style, so it gives you some freedom and allows you to do what we want. And this section here just shows the kind of model that we've looked at by Vickers, and it just links down.
Basically, when the coach is taking the lesson now, they'll practice the skills, but they'll put it in a game situation so that they can relate that to when they're playing in the game, rather than just doing drills over and over again.
And here's the list of like the two different sides, just so you can get an idea of both. And when you look at it, it's almost quite the opposite to each, where you've got the behavioural training, which is in some ways a kind of traditional coaching technique, part whole, whereas you can look at decision making in some ways it's tactical. So an example of TGFU in some ways, you get put into a game, you're asked to obviously make a decision. You've got the tactical side to look at, which is one of the points of TGFU, and obviously the competition, it just creates a bit more fun, so it's not as tedious as probably the behavioural side would be, if that makes sense. Does anyone have any questions? Awesome.
Just go back to that, please.
Environments example again.